Hello, YouTube. This is my very first film ever, or video, I should say, but I wanted to talk to people about my theories, about my ideas, because I feel that I don't really have that many people in my real life that are interested in these very niche and specific topics that I'm interested in. So today I wanted to talk about Panvitalism, which is this philosophical idea that I've been playing with lately. And the reason why I want to talk about Panvitalism is because I think it could expand the way that we look at the world on a scientific level, on a metaphysical level, on any level whatsoever, really. The amount of predictions that you can make with Panvitalism are astounding, and I'm not sure if I'm the first person to have found this or if it already exists somewhere else. I think we're living in a very strange era in which information comes out quicker than you can process it. It's like a sonic boom, but instead of sound waves, you have the wave of information, which is getting impossible to catch up on. um, and I could call that an epistemological boom. I'm not really that good at pronouncing it, apparently. um, But yeah, Panvitalism, the reason why I wanted to discuss it is because I think I found a way to make retrocausality, which is the concept in which the future has an influence on the past, could actually be true in our universe. And the very first thought experiment that I had that was really making me scratch my head was, well, let's imagine that the universe can be lived in two different ways. The first way is the proto-causal way, as I call it. Proto-causality means that something out of the past has an influence on something that happens in the future. So in such a proto-causal universe, you, well, are born without knowing anything. You grow up learning about the universe you're in and the world you're in, and eventually you'll end up dying, which is the final product, if you would like to call it like that, that you represent as a living system that's breathing, that's experiencing, that can be conscious. Now imagine that there is also a second way of living in this universe, and we call it the retrocausal universe. Retrocausality would mean that you would come into the world as an old man with all your memories about the world, and you would slowly but surely become younger and younger. It's like that movie with was it Brad Pitt, I think. I don't know if someone else can help me find it. I'm very bad with names, I'm sorry. But I'm going off topic now. If you imagine that such a universe would exist in which you can go from the future to the present to the past, that person would come into the world with all its memories intact. It would happen. It would happen to know where it comes from, what it has done. Its entire past becomes knowable. The only thing that doesn't become knowable for it is the future, because the future is that which has already happened according to such a retrocausal entity, right? Because you have to switch the arrows of time. In that case, what happened in the future is what would have happened for us in the past, and what happened in the past for them is what would have happened for us in the future. So it makes sense to say that such a system would be born with all of its memories of its past, and would slowly begin to lose all of these memories, all of this information, as it gradually becomes younger and younger, up to the point that it becomes so young that it can't take care of itself anymore, and it becomes a baby. And then it dies by being born inside of the mother and going back in the womb. That's what is possible in a retrocausal universe. Now, the question is, how could you distinguish yourself from knowing that you live in a proto or retrocausal universe, right? We have made the decision, I would say, to represent the entirety of time as one ongoing arrow that goes from the past to the present to the future, right? Or, it's a line that we cannot seem to break in any kind of way, shape, or form. So the thing that becomes interesting then is, well, if another universe would exist in which that arrow is reversed and things would go from the future to the present to the past, how could you distinguish yourself from knowing that there aren't beings, or that there are other spirits in our world today that are living in such a retrograde version of the universe? That person would only be able to tell in our future how they think about the universe. But in order to for them to tell us in our future, it has already happened in their past. So they simply had no choice but to act on that way. So the information still gets, it doesn't go into contradictory terms, because it's difficult to explain, but it does make sense when you think about how an entity that lives in a retrocausal universe would experience this discovery of us, of these proto-causal entities, discovering that there is also a retrocausal way of living the world, and when we end up shaping this theory of retrocausality versus protocausality, and we can fully scientifically explain it, some people might say, oh, well, but that's the universe where I live in, because it might be the case that some people are living in this proto-causal universe at the same time as certain people living in a retrocausal universe. We simply would not be able to tell each other in which kind of universe we would be in, because for us, that's all we have known, information going from the past to the present to the future, or the other way around, information going from the future to the present to the past. There is a perfect symmetry in a universe that functions in that manner, and in which entities can either be protocausal or retrocausal in how they experience their universe. So that was the first conversation that I wanted to have about Panvitalism, which I still haven't explained, I know, but maybe it's a good idea to stop here for a first episode. I don't know if people are gonna watch this. This is just me in my living room having a conversation with my laptop because I'm feeling lonely. So if there are any other people on the internet that want to have this conversation with me and perhaps discover together with me if I'm going insane or not, I would like that. I don't think anyone in my close environment would give a shit about me making videos like this, because I don't think that they would care. So I'm hoping that I might be able to find some mental sparring partners on the internet. I would like to imagine that at 28 years old, that the internet can be used to explore such interesting social dynamics. So I hope I can have at least a comment or two so that I can make the next video on it, and maybe this can become something I do regularly. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the conversation, and I'll see you next time. Bye.